Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Wanted to chat with you guys today about divination tools. I have, in my experience, used astrology, cards. I love stones and sage and all of the fun stuff that we use to shift our energy, shift our vibration, or even tap in and receive guidance. And I've noticed a bit of a pattern or a theme that happens with my vibration when I turn to tarot cards or astrology to look forward and to see how are things going to work out. And unfortunately, it's not been a shift for the better in my vibration. What I've noticed is as I look especially to astrology, trying to understand the future, that I go with a sense of how, it's a question of, is everything going to be okay? Is it going to work out? Is it going to get better soon? That there is a future projection looking for reassurance that somehow the thing that I am desiring or working on manifesting is going to come to me. I'm looking for the evidence that everything's going to be okay, the proof that things are going to get better and better and better. And yet I know in my body, in my being, at a very cellular level, the truth that resonates in my body when I make the statement of I am a divine being, I am cared for, I am loved. And what I have noticed is this shift, the lowering of the vibration that happens when I look to a divination tool for the reassurance of what I already know. I actually feel worse instead of better. And I have also often seen in my clients and the people that I work with as well that there is almost a giving away of our power to these tools, where the statement will be made that, well, astrology says this is going to be hard because this aspect is coming up, or astrology says my twin flame is going to run for the next 3 years and therefore I have to be alone and sad and depressed, or the pendulum said that I can't do this thing that I so deeply desire. And it's a giving away of our power. It pulls us out of the present and it gives our power to this tool. And as I meditate on this and I ponder and I listen to my intuition on how to speak about this and how to share this perspective with you, what really came to the forefront was, yes, we are giving away our power, and that it actually drains our energy, that there is, and I feel it, I feel the lowering of the vibration as I look to these tools. It actually wears me out, that I feel more tired, I feel drained, that I'm looking for the evidence of something that I already know to be true. And in that, there is doubt, there is lack, there is uncertainty, that I am surrendering to, well, maybe this truth that I know to be true isn't quite true, or maybe I don't fully have enough faith to believe. And so I need this reassurance outside of me, right? Again, I'm looking for the evidence of the manifestation outside of me. I'm looking for the reassurance and the safety and the love and the care and the nurturing from outside of me, when all that we have and all that we need is within us. And so we need to understand the energetic tax that comes with looking for proof outside of us that everything's going to be okay. And we have to be honest with ourselves that there is a vibration of fear or a vibration of lack in that. And I'm not here to say never use astrology, never use cards. Certainly when you feel your divine guidance and source calls you to do that, that's not my place to say. But I am here to share with you my experience, and that giving away my power and giving authority to this thing outside of me has never served me. Looking for the savior, looking for something outside of me to fix the internal environment has never worked and has never served me. And I'm seeing, unfortunately, the evidence in clients as well, where this giving power away or giving authority to the external source of information has actually not served them. And so that is why I'm here. That we also have to remember that when we read an astrology report, it was written in a stagnant moment in time. It considered a small amount of perspectives. It considered a small amount of potentials. That energy is never stagnant. Potentials are infinite, and that the shifting of how things might go is happening in the micro moments of your life. That you would have to walk around with a deck with you and pull a card every second and to be able to really stay on top of how these things are playing out for you. And that, unfortunately, again, is giving our power away to something external, when the truth is our guidance, we are like a Tesla tower. We are like a tuning fork. We are the divination tool. And we are being asked to bring our focus and our attention and our awareness back inside of us, to listen to the guidance that is always available to us, to have faith in ourselves, to have faith in our Creator, have trust in our intuition, and to rekindle the relationship with our bodies so that we can be fully tuned in, turned on, and aligned, and hearing that guidance that is available to us at all times. I often wonder too if I have given more credibility, more faith in these external tools than I have in my own ability to connect and hear and trust what I hear, to trust my intuition, to trust my body, to trust my connection to the divine. And we often see the cards or the astrology or the pendulum as being wiser than our own bodies, than our own intuition. And certainly it may be true that our intuition was wrong in the past, but that doesn't make it perpetually wrong or wrong going forward, but rather what that would indicate to us is that we are not practiced. We're not exercised, that the muscle is atrophied, and that only should say to us we need to work more on tapping into our intuition. More effort needs to be put towards lowering the frequency of our thought patterns so that we are not living in beta, we are living in alpha, we are living in delta, we are living in theta, so that we are more open and able to receive the guidance that is available to us. And we want to be cognizant that our tools may allow us to call in a source of information that is not in service to our Creator, that is not a benevolent being, that is not polarizing to love, that is polarizing to the negative. And so we have to be very careful that we open ourselves up to and give our power and authority to things that may not necessarily have our highest good in mind, right? And we also have to remember that our Creator is the highest source of guidance, and that everything below that is limited in some way. And so the most intelligent, the most loving, the most benevolent information that you can possibly receive is going to be directly from your Creator through the divination tool that is your body, heart, soul, mind, as they align and become more attuned to the highest frequencies. So just remember, we want the most up-to-date information. The timelines are always shifting, potentials are always shifting. Someone else's free will may be impacting you on a micro moment level, that we have to remember to constantly be connected. I believe a lady, I forget her name now, but she always says, always be connected. ABC. We have to always be tuning in and listening. And I reiterate in many videos, guidance, action, guidance, action, guidance, action. Constantly checking in. What is my next right step? Asking for that guidance and learning to listen. How do we hear? How does source speak to us? And I'm covered in goosebumps right now. So that is the message, that's one of the big ways for me. And you're going to have your own Claire. So for me, knowing, feeling, sensing, bodily indications are very strong. These are the muscles that I have exercised. These are the gifts that I was born with. So know your Clairs. Know how your guidance speaks to you. Is it goosebumps? Is it dreams? Is it visions? Is it anything internally? It will come from the heart. When I first sat to meditate on this and call in the guidance for it, there was a churning in my stomach, almost as if the power in my solar plexus was turning over, turning on, saying, yes, yes, this is it, that we need to bring the attention and the focus internally. Again, I also use this term sweep in front of your own door, because it really is about your internal environment, clearing out the junk and the perspective shifts that are necessary, the resistance and the the lack of surrender. We have to remember that all is well, and that anytime we're in resistance to whatever is outside of us, we are creating resistance to the guidance that's going to come through us. And for whatever reason, my voice is going. I'm not sick. This has not been a pattern up until now. So there's a message in that, using our voice, right? Understanding that as we express, this is coming through right now. So as we express our guidance, ooh, everything's lighting up. So as we call in the guidance, as we open to it, as we listen and we hear and we are willing to share our truth, share the guidance that comes through, it grows and it becomes stronger, and it is a more and more of a blessing to those around you, and you feel the clarity that you need, you feel and hear and know the guidance that you need, and that is enough, that you are 100,000% certain that you have all of the guidance available to you, and you stop feeling this need to turn to the outside sources of information. You stop feeling the need to give your power away, to look for the confirmation and the certainty of the love that is available to you and the power that is within you. And I don't think I have ever quite felt my entire chakra system light up the way it is right now. So this is a very, very strong message to you. Again, I am in no way judging anyone who uses cards, especially if that is your living. That does not mean that there is anything wrong, but bring it in slowly as best you can. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Your intuition, your guidance, your connection is stronger than the tools, and it is available to you anytime. You just have to have the faith and the trust and the willingness to ask the questions. Remain as king when you are asking the question, how do I strengthen my guidance? How do I hear you more clearly? How do I follow and listen more intently and intuitively and with faith, and trust your own system? That we are always connected to source, that he, she, it, they, them lives within you and is always available to you, that you are, it's impossible, it is completely impossible for our source to be disconnected from us. It is in our heart, it is in our soul, it is in every cell of our being, it is in our DNA. No matter how much those who polarize to the negative want to try to separate us from it, they cannot. It is impossible. And again, that reassurance, that confirmation of, yes, you are powerful, you are an amazingly powerful being, and this power is available to you no matter what they do to you. It may be harder to hear, it may be that you have been separated from it, and so it's going to just take a little bit of effort. But as you make that commitment and as you ask the questions, you remain as king. When you're asking the question, you will continue to get stronger and stronger, and we collectively come together to support each other. And I'm also feeling that as we come together, we strengthen our intuitive abilities, we strengthen the guidance. Again, the vision of being like Tesla towers, all of us conducting this very powerful energy. So come together with your soul brothers and sisters, physically in person as best you can. Visually, even on Zoom, is going to be even greater than, just a phone call or an email or a text message is better than nothing. So come together as best you can. And just remember that these divination tools often allow the ego to get in the way. That the ego is the overthinking, right? The over-analyzing, the labeling, the need to understand and to say this is right and this is wrong and this is yes and this is no. All of that is egoic. That we really only need that flash of the first intuitive insight that comes through, and everything after that is overthinking, overprocessing, getting in the way. And that's, for me, what the tools have done. That I want to ponder the card, I want to look at all the different aspects and what does this mean and what does that mean, and all of that can happen from a more feminine, energetic state of openness and allowing and surrendering to the information that's going to come through, instead of the over processing of the mind and the need to understand and control and define and predict and get out of the present moment. bringing it back to the present is the only place that we have any power to create, the only place we have any true control, uh, to whatever level we actually have control. It just overcomplicates it. It creates more fear and anxiety, and there is a desperation in the hope of certainty, right? And we have certainty, we have eminent uh, powers of certainty. Not sure why the word eminent is coming through right now. Not even sure that's appropriate in that sentence. Doesn't matter. It is what it is. But we have all of the hope that we need. And I often feel that I am more hopeful before I go to these tools to look for the hope that I thought I needed. And just remember that Spirit always uses what we already know to speak to us. And we need to strengthen our abilities of discernment to start to notice when the mind and the ego created something versus when something came through. And it effortless is what is being suggested here, is that there is no trying to create something, there's no searching in your mind to go find the answer, that it effortlessly comes through, that there was no, you didn't try, you didn't put any effort behind it, and it was available to you. Spirit uses what we already know, uses songs we've heard, the language we use, the products, the visuals, the images, the people around us. It only uses what we already know because it speaks in our language. So don't discount the song that plays in your head, or the phrase that you use all the time but just happen to come to you effortlessly. That's a message that Spirit speaks to you in dreams and visions and thoughts and language that are very common and always readily available to us, that we've used before because we understand it. Also understand that our perspective is what an inaccurate perspective is what separates us from the truth. So the inverse of that is accurate perspective is a miracle. It is bringing us closer to love and truth. So anytime you have a perspective shift, when you start to see something differently, when you start to see someone differently, when you can understand their perspective, when you can understand what they may do or say or perceive as coming from a place of separation and ego instead of oneness and love, and being able to shift your perspective around thoughts, places, things, people, all that's a miracle. When we are shifting closer to everything is divinely perfect as it is, without resistance, we open more to the truth and the flow of abundance available to us. Also remember, nature is intended to guide us, that the birds are an example of how we should trust that we don't have to fear, will we have food, will we have water? The birds are always fed. The flowers remind us of the beauty that's always available to us, that will always be beautifully clothed. Water reminds us how we should effortlessly flow. So if you're looking for something in that moment, that I feel the need for something outside of me to give me answers, we can healthily look to nature and see examples of how to be. So just remember that we want to always focus internally first. As within, so without. And so there's another perspective too, that if we are in an unhealthy state, if we have an energetic internally that needs to be shifted, we may create the evidence of that through our divination tools, as within, so without. And so to look to the external for the answers of what needs to shift internally is just going to keep us in a loop, again, giving up giving our power away. So just remember to strengthen your gifts of intuition and your connection to source, because that is the highest level of guidance available to you. The most breaking news, the most up-to-date evidence of the next right step. So our connection and our intuition, our connection to source will continue to grow and grow over time as we practice it. The more we lean on it, the stronger it gets. And again, the beautiful symbols of the lotus flower just continuing to unfold, the strengths and the gifts continue to unfold. So I love you guys. Obviously, always coming from a place of love, never from judgment. Don't feel bad. Don't beat on yourself. Don't feel like you've done something wrong in the past, or that I'm saying you're going to be doing something wrong in the future. That's not what this is about. It's just really about calling in all of your power, calling in all of your strength, connecting to source, and really tapping into the tremendous abilities that are available to you. So with that, I will close. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next video. Of course, if you want to continue the conversation in any way, I have lots of links below. So I will see you on the next video. Namaste.